Alright, so just came up. This is really the first time I've come up here to take assessment of things since winter struck. Snow came in, things got real cold real fast, and I barely had enough time to just kind of throw tarps and plastic and visqueen and try and get this area water protected to survive the winter. Already finding some standing water. Alright. That is the actual floor down there. All the straw bales that build the walls I stored on the surface of this to create insulation for the first floor through winter. And I threw tarps over the top and plastic to protect the bales from water and snow. So now, I'm going to come along and disconnect all these cross members, cut in uprights so there's still stability given to the structure, pull all the plastic and tarps off, and then bend each one of the straw bales and get them seated on this existing wall. And just start building up. So that's the start of second floor. I'm gonna start pulling this stuff up and figured, well, maybe people will be interested to see how well it all fared through the winter up here. Nothing but some tarps and plastic. Jack, it's just me. Alright, let's back up a little bit here. Well, that's how it fared with just some tarps. Pretty much exactly what the roof looks like underneath the main house. With moisture sitting right on top of it, it's only down slightly. Perfect. Alright. Start pulling these bales up. Now you have some room to work. The straw bales will be the exterior wall. They provide great roof insulation for the first floor, which is bedrooms underneath here. Now to do some cleanup. Alright, now we have some room to work. This patch is actually the stairwell access hatch from the first floor. Once the walls go up, that's how we'll get in. Right now it's screwed down and foam sealed, spray foamed. You can see some of the spray foam poking up. That was just temporary to get through winter. Now we can take down some of the rest of this weather barrier and start putting up some straw bales. So first, I'm going to show, this is a shorty. Here's the seam. This was a cut bale that was centered in place. And this is a full bale. So this is already set up for a running bond. Putting a full bale across here will offset that seam the way that I want it to. You can see this one cast and overshoots a little bit. Corner's not bad, but I want to get a wrap on that. So I'm going to pull it off and do a bend. It pulls in, then I'll tack the strings onto the post. You can see it pulls it up tighter. And then it's almost straight down for the next bale. Alright, so now I've got some just regular old jute twine, some baling plastic twine. Cut enough off that I think I'll be able to tie just fine. And get in here, tie one of these hog staples to it. A lot easier if you tie it on. Go ahead and try without, but a lot easier if you tie the staple on. And I get a grip, pair of pliers, get in here as close as I feel comfortable. Hammer that bad boy home. Loop the string on the bale, and then pull it in close and tight, the best that you can there. I get a couple on, and then I just tuck it back behind it. Now the combination of having two stakes in the bale locks it to the row below it, and then having the twine on the bales attached to the poles on each end helps lock them as they go up from bowing either direction. In the middle, between the bales, kind of do a similar approach. This usually takes a little bit longer piece. Get in there, and you got your string around the bale. Pull it as hard as you can over to that end. Then the idea is you're going to try and loop into the other bale and pull it tight. And you're tying these bales together as well. Not always easy, but if you do it this way, you have your centers tied, your ends tied, and the middle staked. Your wall doesn't go anywhere. Just do a very simple double knot on each side. That spans the middle, loops around and ties off, loops around and ties off. Now, this isn't going anywhere. Got 2 bales tacked together in the middle, tacked together on the ends with staples, and then stakes driven through. Alright. Yeah, straw bales are slightly off, but you can see from there, that's not. So, that's the quick frame up. 2x6 base runner, 2x4 framing around it, suspending it, and then just tacked straight into the poles across there. And on the outside, I'll pile up some additional straw to create a bevel here, and then attach metal lathe across the top and round it over. And then this all gets lime plastered to create a nice smooth water runoff here. And up here, I'll be attaching metal lathe across here, and then it'll bow out and go up to the top. This will get a nice lime plaster, and on the back side here, I'll back stuff it with straw and then seal across here. So to frame in this side of the window, I'm going to take a straw bale and put it on its side. Stand it upright right here. And I have tacked in with hog ties and twine, a couple of tie points on either side here, so when the bale is stood up, I can tie it in and lock it in place. Alright, I've now spiked that bale, put an upright stick right in the middle, push around, spiked it, and then put in twine, locking it to the posts and the 2x4s all the way around it. So you can see how that's going to go in. Alright, and this is with it set up all the way to the top there. You can see the loose fill. It kind of brings it up to here outside. And then metal lathe will cover this, attached to the wood across here, across there, create that downslope for rain runoff, and up across there as well. Again, just spiked, and then twine. You can see the tie point right there, and it wraps around the bale, comes back in over here through the string, tacks onto the post, ties both strings on. Very simple tie-in structure, doesn't have to be complicated. Alright, so there's that wall, that one's coming up to level, and there's the next window. So this is a 3x3 window, and I want it about waist height, so when I walk up to it, my eye line is right in the middle. So that's where I place that. Just happened to be that 3 straw bales up was perfect for that. This one is a 4-foot tall by 3-foot wide window. Of course, split the difference, bridge it with 2x6 is the same way as over there. And then walking over to it, middle is right about chest height. And it's got a nice view coming out across. And there's room above for insulation, and then down the side the exact same way as over there, if necessary. So just because of how space worked out on this, I'm decided I'm going to leave this like this. And then what I'll do is attach metal lathe across here, bridge it over to the outside of the straw bale wall, and then I'll backfill this triangle section with straw, and then metal lathe in this side as well, and then of course lime plaster. So then in this section I can continue the running bond, and that would no doubt be the strongest, best way to do this. But honestly, right now I just want to get this done, and it'll go so much faster if I just put strawbale, 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 strawbale. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be lazy. Over there, where it's a much longer span, I'll do the running bond. Right here, I'm going to be lazy, and I'm going to do a shortcut. So this is the intended tie. The next courses are going to go on here. So to try and make it easy, I go in here and put in pretty long lengths, doubled over, of twine. Hog tie staple, hog tie staple, hog tie staple, hog tie staple. And drag one side through to this side, and I don't know if you can see that, tie it to the strawbale string, 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 and then pull it back through to this side so that I've got both strings sitting there. So then when I set the next course of bales up, I tie these onto that bale. The next course goes on, I tie these onto that bale. Next course goes on, I tie these onto that bale. And when the next course goes on, I tie these onto that bale. And that way it's already tacked onto the back and out of the way, nice and clean. Twine. About that big's pretty good. Doubled over. Cut it, find the middle. Hog staple. Doubled over twine. Tied knot. I do one more, probably unnecessary. And then looking at where these strings are going to be, comes right across to about there. So I'll bring this around, put it on the back side. There it be. And repeat, 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 repeat. Here you can see the next one has gone on, and I'll place this one. Alright, just showing what we've got accomplished so far. These just piled there to get them out of the way. Building around. This is the next area to get onto. So, starting to clear up the floor here. So I had a whole bale, I needed a halfer. So what I do, take the whole bale, stick some twine on the tip, set it, drive it through the bale, pull it on the other side, loop it around, tie, cut both bale strings, and now you've got two pieces that are tied up. Do two more loops of twine around it, and then use the straw bale itself one on each side. So now you have two equal bale halves, and they just drop right into place. Makes it easier to keep your running bond going. For these uppermost bales, I do something a little different. Tack the string long enough to wrap all the way around the bale. Put it down here at the bottom, throw the string over, set the bale on top, pull the string around the bale, bring it back over the top, and then re-hog tie staple it up here. That way you have a full bale loop holding it against the post. Just more stability when you get higher up. Alright, here we are, and this is 8 hours of work, maybe? 7, 8? So we've got that wall in, that window in, that wall in, that wall in, framing for the window, that wall in, that wall in, and that wall in. So this is it. That's the hatch to the first floor. Here's the hatch to the third floor. So this is it. About 7 or 8 hours worth of work. Now, I stopped here simply because I ran out of straw bales. Need another layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then change across the top. These last 3 sections here, 1, 2, 3, are actually going to be a different type of wall structure. I'm going to do a wattle and daub on those. And that is simply because there is no straw bale support there. The straw bale wall ends there. This is all bridge over into the existing structure. So rather than set the bales there and risk rot, I'm just going to do a wattle and daub where I'm attaching runners here, and then filling the space in between with straw, and then smearing plaster over each, and then I'll simply bring this corner in so that it all looks kind of uniform when it's done.